Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You wake up tomorrow and everything in your life has changed. Not because of luck, not because of opportunity, but because you changed. Your mindset, your habits, your thinking, because everything you see in your life right now is a reflection of how you think. Your income, your discipline, your confidence, your results, they all come from one place, your mind. And if you can change your mind, you can change your life. But here is the problem. Most people never take control of their thoughts. They wake up and immediately react to stress, to pressure, to fear, to doubt. And because of that, they live the same day over and over again. Nothing changes, nothing improves, nothing evolves. But you are here for a reason, because something inside you knows there is more potential, more success, more freedom. And that feeling is not random. It is a signal that your current life is not your final form. But in order to unlock it, you must do something different. You must think differently. Because your mind is like a program, and right now, it is running on old code. Code that was built from your environment, your past, your fears, your experiences. And unless you change that code, you will keep getting the same results. This is why most people stay stuck. Not because they lack ability, but because they never change their thinking. But today, that changes. Today, you begin to reprogram your mind. You begin to take control. Because once you control your mind, everything else follows. Your actions, your discipline, your success. Everything begins here, inside your mind. Most people never realize truly how powerful their mind is. They spend years, unfortunately, living below their potential, not because they are incapable, but because they were conditioned by their surroundings and the people they grew up with to think small, to doubt themselves, and to fear failure. And over time, those thoughts became beliefs, and those beliefs, in turn, became reality. This is how the mind works. Whatever you repeat consistently, you begin to believe, and whatever you believe, you begin to act upon. That is why your environment matters. The people around you, the content you consume, the words you hear every day, because all of it, subtly, yet profoundly, programs your thinking and eventually programs your life. This is why some people stay trapped. They wake up surrounded by negativity, fear, excuses, and complaints, and after enough exposure, that energy becomes normal. But greatness, on the other hand, requires separation, a deliberate and intentional separation from the ordinary. You cannot think like everyone else and expect extraordinary results. You must become intentional. Intentional with your focus, intentional with your habits, and intentional with your mindset, because the mind always is absorbing, always learning, and always adapting. And if you do not take control of it, the world will control it for you. Think about that carefully. Every advertisement, every social media post, every opinion, every distraction is fighting for your attention, because attention truly is power. Where your attention goes, your life follows. That is why discipline matters, because discipline protects your focus, and focus, in turn, creates results. Most people, unfortunately, destroy their own potential because they cannot focus. They jump from idea to idea, goal to goal, dream to dream, never staying consistent long enough to see progress. But successful people, on the other hand, understand something different. Mastery requires repetition, growth requires patience, and transformation requires consistency. There is no shortcut, no secret formula, no overnight success, only daily improvement and small actions taken consistently over time, repeated over time, and eventually, those small actions become habits, and those habits become identity. And that identity changes your entire life. So, ask yourself this: what habits are shaping your future right now? Are they building you or destroying you? Because every decision matters. Every day you either move closer or further away from the life you want. And the hardest truth is this: nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to suddenly change your life. That responsibility belongs to you. And while that may sound heavy, it is also freeing. Because if the responsibility is yours, then so is the power to change, the power to grow, and the power to become something greater. And from this moment forward, you begin using that power intentionally, consistently, and relentlessly. Because now, you understand something most people never will. Your mind creates your reality. There is a reason why some people change their lives and others remain exactly the same. It is not intelligence, it is not talent, and it is not luck, it is identity. Because every action you take comes from the person you believe you are. Think about that. If someone believes they are weak, they act weak. If someone believes they are undisciplined, they behave without discipline. And if someone believes success is impossible for them, they stop trying before they even begin. This is why mindset is everything. Because your identity controls your behavior, and your behavior creates your future. Most people try to change their life without changing themselves. They want success without becoming successful. They want discipline without becoming disciplined. And they want confidence without changing the way they think. But transformation does not work like that. The outer world always reflects the inner world, which means if you want to change your life, you must first change your identity. You must begin seeing yourself differently, as someone who is capable of growth, not as someone who wishes, but as someone who takes action, not as someone who hopes, but as someone who executes. But as someone who executes, and someone who follows through, and someone who keeps promises to themselves. Because self-trust, and this is essential, changes everything. Every time you quit, you weaken your identity. Every time you procrastinate, you reinforce weakness. But every time you stay disciplined, even when you don't feel like it, you become stronger. And eventually, that strength becomes who you are. This is how real transformation happens, not in one dramatic moment, but through repeated decisions, daily, consistent, intentional decisions. And over time, those decisions reshape your entire mind. Now, understand this carefully. Your brain adapts to repetition. Whatever you repeat becomes familiar, and whatever becomes familiar feels natural. That means discipline can become natural, confidence can become natural, and success habits can become natural. But only through repetition, only through consistency. This is why your daily routine matters, because your routine is creating your future. Every day, you are either reinforcing weakness or building strength. There is no neutral, no standing still. You are always becoming something. So, the question is, what are you becoming? Someone focused or distracted? Someone disciplined or inconsistent? Someone intentional or reactive? Because the direction of your life is shaped by your daily actions, not your intentions, not your dreams, but your actions. And once you understand this, everything changes, because now you stop waiting for motivation, you stop depending on feelings, you stop looking for perfect timing, and instead, you build systems, habits, standards. You create structure. Because structure creates freedom, and when your habits become strong, your life becomes powerful. This is why the highest performers in the world protect their routines. They are, after all, the key to their success. Protect their focus and protect their energy. Because they understand something most people ignore. success is not random, it is engineered. And from this moment forward, you begin engineering your future one decision at a time. One of the greatest lies that people believe is that they have time to delay, time to procrastinate, time to wait until they feel ready. But the truth is that life moves quickly. Days become weeks, weeks become months, months become years, and before most people realize it, their potential has already been wasted, not because they couldn't succeed, but because they waited too long to begin. This is why urgency matters, not panic, not stress, but intentional urgency. Because once you understand how valuable time truly is, you stop wasting it. You stop giving your energy to distractions, to negativity, to meaningless habits, and you begin protecting your focus, protecting your future, protecting your life. Because your future is being built right now, in this moment, through the decisions you make daily. Most people think transformation happens suddenly, but it doesn't. Transformation happens quietly, internally, one decision at a time. Every time you choose discipline, instead of comfort, you change. Every time you stay focused, instead of distracted, you change. Every time you continue, even when it's difficult, you change. And eventually, those small changes become massive results. This is why consistency beats motivation, because motivation disappears, feelings change, energy changes, but standards remain. And successful people live by standards, not moods, not emotions, standards. They decide who they are, they decide what they tolerate, they decide how they operate, and then they live accordingly. This is why discipline creates freedom, because once your habits become strong, your life becomes easier. You no longer argue with yourself. You no longer rely on motivation. You simply execute, automatically, and that level of self-control changes everything. Because once you can control yourself, you can build anything, a business, a vision, a future, a completely new life. But it begins with mastering yourself first, your thoughts, your habits, your attention, your discipline. And once those become aligned, your results begin to multiply. This is when confidence becomes real, not fake confidence, not loud confidence, but quiet certainty. The certainty that, no matter what happens, you will continue, you will adapt, you will overcome, because you trust yourself. And self-trust, I think, is one of the most powerful forces in the world. Most people never develop it because they constantly break promises to themselves. They quit early, they procrastinate, they avoid discomfort. And every time they do, their confidence weakens. But every time you follow through, your confidence grows. Every completed task, every disciplined action, every focused day builds evidence. Evidence that you are capable, evidence that you are changing, evidence that you are becoming stronger. And over time, that evidence becomes identity. This is how powerful people are built, not through motivation, but through repeated discipline, repeated execution, repeated self-respect. And from this moment forward, that becomes your standard. No more excuses, no more waiting, no more self-doubt. Only progress, only growth, only forward movement. Because now you understand something powerful. Your future depends on what you do today. At some point, you must make a decision, a real decision, not a temporary burst of motivation, not another promise you break after a few days. A real decision about who you are going to become. Because your future is not built by motivation, it is built by identity, by standards, by repeated action. Every successful person you admire made a decision to stop living below their potential, and a decision to stop making excuses, a decision to become disciplined, focused, and intentional. And that same decision is available to you right now. But understand this clearly. Your life will not improve automatically. If you continue repeating the same habits, you will continue getting the same results. Nothing changes until you change. And change requires discomfort. It requires sacrifice. And it requires letting go of the old version of yourself. The distracted version, the inconsistent version, the version that waits for perfect timing. Because perfect timing does not exist. There is only now, only this moment, only this decision. And every moment you delay is a moment your future gets delayed too. So stop waiting, stop doubting, and stop underestimating yourself. Because you are capable of far more than you realize. But potential means nothing without execution. This is why action matters. Even small action, even imperfect action. Because action creates momentum, and momentum changes everything. Once you begin moving forward consistently, your confidence grows, your discipline grows, your belief grows. And eventually, you become unstoppable. Not because life becomes easy, but because you become stronger, you become resilient, focused, calm under pressure, and disciplined under stress. And those qualities separate average people from extraordinary people. This is why your habits matter so much, because your habits are shaping your identity daily. Every distraction weakens you. Every excuse weakens you. Every broken promise weakens you. But every disciplined action builds you. Every focused day builds you. Every moment of self-control builds you. Until eventually, you become someone new, someone powerful, someone intentional, someone capable of building the life they truly want. And that transformation begins now, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Because your future is watching the decisions you make today, and from this moment forward, you choose growth, you choose discipline, you choose execution, and you choose yourself. And one day, you will look back at this version of yourself, the version filled with doubt, the version waiting for change, and you will realize that this was the moment everything changed. This was the beginning of your transformation. There is something powerful that happens when a person finally becomes tired of living beneath their potential, not tired physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. A moment where they realize they cannot continue living the same way anymore, because deep down, they know they were meant for more discipline, more growth, more purpose, more life. And that realization changes everything, because once you become aware, you cannot go back to ignorance. You begin noticing your distractions, your excuses, your wasted time, your negative habits, and for the first time, you see clearly. You see the gap between who you are today and who you could become. And while that gap may feel painful, it is also powerful, because awareness is the beginning of transformation. Most people never reach this point. They stay distracted forever, entertained forever, comfortable forever, and because of that, their lives never truly change. But you are beginning to wake up. You are beginning to think differently. And different thinking creates a different future. This is why protecting your mind is one of the most important things you can ever do, because the quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life. Negative thinking creates fear. Fear creates hesitation. Hesitation destroys opportunities. But powerful thinking creates action. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates transformation. Everything begins in the mind. This is why successful people guard their energy carefully, and they avoid negativity. They avoid distractions, and they avoid environments that weaken their focus. Because they understand something powerful, your environment shapes your standards. If everyone around you lacks discipline, discipline starts feeling unusual. If everyone around you thinks small, big dreams start feeling impossible. This is why growth sometimes requires separation, not because you are better than others, but because your future requires different standards, different habits, and different thinking. And once you understand this, you stop feeling guilty for protecting your peace, protecting your focus, and protecting your future. Because now you understand that your life is your responsibility, and responsibility creates power. The power to choose differently, the power to think differently, and the power to act differently. And eventually, the power to become someone entirely new. This is the real transformation, not external success, not money, not status, but internal mastery. Because once you master yourself, external success becomes easier. You become calmer, more focused, more intentional, more disciplined. And those qualities change everything around you. This is why your daily choices matter so much. Every day, you are either feeding your future or feeding your distractions. Every day, you are either building strength or building regret. And while these decisions may seem small, over time, they shape your destiny. So, from this moment forward, choose intentionally, choose discipline, choose growth, and choose the future you truly want. Because one day, you will either thank yourself or regret not starting sooner. And that decision begins today. If this message resonated with you, listen to it again tomorrow, because transformation happens through repetition. Subscribe to Audio Library HQ for more powerful mindset audiobooks designed to help you grow mentally, emotionally, and financially. And remember, the life you want begins with the thoughts you choose today.